after you've actually imported the image and you scaled it and you've done the red line, you want to work on your wall types. Let us work on a wall section after we've done some studies. So go back to your lessons from ARC 123, ARC 133, and ARC 134 and review some of the typical subjects in terms of stud wall, light wood construction, putting it on wood frame versus slab on the grade. In this example, we're going to do slab on the grade, and I've got a PowerPoint for you to study. And after we've done that, we actually composed a wall section that the main portion of it has a stud wall using 2x4, which is essentially 1.5 by 3.5, followed towards the outside by airspace 1 inch, 1 inch of bad insulation, which acts as the boarding and backing for the 2 inch of stone as well. Then moving to the inside, 1/2 inch gypsum wallboard. So first we're going to compose a wall with these 5 components. Then for each one of these segments, we're going to create a wall section, tiny sections, and then we're going to stack them and dimension them. And the part that we're going to keep variable is going to be the main part over here. And then we would like to establish the height of the wall and information about the wall based on the either top of the floor or top of the finished floor. So we want to keep that in mind. So let's get started with a wall type that has all of these components. Let us go to Revit. So we go to wall and create a wall. It doesn't matter what type. Let us get started with just a blank wall. Let's go with our 8 inch or 6 inch generic wall. We draw a 6 inch generic wall. We look closer as just a solid wall. Then we're going to change that. We're going to take that and we're going to edit the type. As always, when we edit the type, first we duplicate, then we name. So we're going to call this stone panel, because that's what we like it to be. We're going to call it 1-1 because we want it to go all the way to the top of our list. Stone panel, and then I'm just going to put stud, or you can put main, but I'm going to put stud, and then I'm going to simply put stone panel, and I'm going to take away the space so it doesn't take as much time, as much space. So we start editing by clicking on edit. In order to see this preview over here, you need to click on here. You can see it in floor plan or in section, whichever you like, in section or in floor plan. All right. So now I'm going to change the structure, which is structure 1, to, I'm going to choose a category in terms of material. I'm going to call stud, type in stud. And I see I have metal stud, but I don't have wood. So I'm going to put wood stud. And then I see wood rafter joist and wood structure joist rafters bad insulation. I say this is the closest I can get. All right. So I'm going to get to here and I say OK. And I'm going to change its size to 3.5 inches because essentially I have 2x4, which is 1.5 inches by 3.5. In this cross section we see 3.5 inches. Then we insert another layer. That layer to the outside, I'm going to use finish 1-4. And I'm going to change its, I'm going to use finish 1-4. And for the material, I'm going to create a material importing an image. So I'm going to add new, and I'm going to call it, rename, 2x4, and I'm going to go back, stone panels, 2x4, okay? And then I'm going to go to Appearance, and it doesn't have an image. It's blank because it was basics, right? So I'm going to go to the image, and I'm going to import an image. I've already saved from the west elevation a section of that stone panel, and I open it, and I size it. I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Even though they're 2 feet, I don't want it to look cartoonish, so I'm going to say, I'm going to change that size. So I'm going to change this to 9 by 9. So I'm going to come back down here, scale this, so that is 9 feet by 9 feet. As soon as I put one, because it wants it in square, it changes it to 9 feet for the height as well. So I say, okay, graphics is gray. I'm going to go just a little bit lighter because that's just too dark, and I'm fine with it. And in terms of the background, we're good. We say okay. So we've finished the stone panel. We plugged in the stone panel. We create the amount, 2 inches of stone. That's the layer 1 of the exterior. So at this point, I want to insert another piece. Okay. So it says structure. First of all, I want to down it. And then I don't want it to be structure. What do I want to be? I would like it to be insulation. So I down arrow here, look for thermal and air. And then I'm going to look over here for rigid insulation. Let's look for rigid insulation. Rigid insulation. And I've got it. And then I'm going to be very happy with everything. I'm just going to change that rigid insulation amount to 1. Okay. Then I'm going to insert. I'm going to down because it's after that. So now I started with finish, thermal air 1 inch. I'm going to go literally airspace, thermal and air. And I'm just going to go for air. I'm going to type in air. And I'm going to use L infiltration barrier. I'm happy with that. And I would like to have 1 inch of that. Okay. Then there is my structure. Okay. So after my structure, I want to create another one. And so I'm going to down that one too. Okay. Because it's after my structure. That's my interior finish. So I'm going to go, this was finish 1. This is my finish 5. So I have 5 layers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. My first to the outside exterior is stone panel. My finish 2, which is my layer 5, all the way on this side to the interior is my gypsum wallboard. So I'm going to look for gypsum wallboard. And I'm going to be very happy with everything over here. I say okay. And I'm just going to change this to 1/2 inch, 0.5. And I think I'm okay. And now it's giving me a wall thickness over here, 7.5 inches. Right now the sample height is 20 feet. I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it. I say, well, wait a minute. What happened? Why don't I see it? I come on over here and I have to be looking in plan. And then I say detail level. I change it from coarse to fine. And all of a sudden, I look close and I get to see stone. I get to see rigid insulation, airspace, stud, and my interior finish 1. Right now, I have simply created one type of a wall. That's it. So, we would like to make sure that we finished